growers, of the top 100 growers we talked about, probably 40% of their production is outsourced. So they have models they're currently working where they know how they like to and are able to manage their risk when they take product in from other people that's either finished or pre-finished, as they call it. And if growers, if they're secondary suppliers of finished material, if they don't produce to their spec, they don't take the product. So why would they treat Doom any different than their contract producers? Yeah. That's kind of the way that's been established. And again, it's about power and control in the channel. The growers have the relationships with the retailers, and without a grower supporting your product, you can't get into the market. And in the U.S., it's so concentrated that you don't want the top 10 growers in the United States to say they're not going to buy your product anymore because you're done.
And just thinking about the growers, what are the trends that they're looking for? Because clearly, you've got a number of, again, if you look at Doom, they're effectively just, they're effectively trading vegetation. The other guys are trading seeds as well, particularly ball. What do growers want? Because I guess if you're buying seeds, it's a more controlled environment and it probably suits certain growers, whereas other ones, and again, I guess it's sort of plant by plant as well in terms of what's preferred. Are there any more trends towards wanting seeds, or I'm just sort of thinking about sort of broader market trends, or is it sort of relatively status quo?
Yeah, so the seed business from a breeder-producer perspective, it's more desirable because you can put seed, you can harvest your seed, you can package it, you can put it in the cooler, and a lot of varieties will be fine for 5 or 10 years where you can still sell them and they're high quality. Vegetative cuttings, you have about a 2-week window where you produce it and you have to ship it within those 2 weeks or it's not viable anymore. So the production risk from a supply perspective is much greater with vegetative product. The industry has made the decision that vegetative product is more vigorous, and you can certainly bring innovation much faster with vegetative product because of the way the breeding process works than you can with seed. So the industry has made a decision that they prefer vegetative product. So the seed market is probably down 20% from its peak. And the reality, there's one particular crop that's a very high value seed that probably represents 15 or 20% of the seed business today. And that's artificially inflated the value of the seed business. So overall, the seed business is down probably 25% from its all-time high. And that trend it was very rapid for the last 3 to 5 years. It's sort of slowed at this point. So the seed business is probably stabilizing at its current size. But the vegetative market, demand for innovative new products continues to rise. And specifically the growers, the vertical channel, the mass merchants have virtually squeezed all of the profitability out of this chain. And, one of the big risks with something like Basewell Technology is Dooman will go in and talk to the guys at Home Depot about it, and the Home Depot will then squeeze the growers, whatever incremental profitability they have, they'll squeeze that out of them. And specifically facing the growers, you've got labor issues, which again, their single biggest cost line item in the U.S. is labor, and with immigration laws and changes, they can't get the labor. And then there's issues around pesticides and herbicides, what they can and what they can't use in their greenhouses. So the ability to maintain a clean, safe crop is becoming more difficult, more expensive. So growers are looking for new high-value crops and products that they can bring to market to improve their overall profitability, create demand. And then you've got the gorilla in the room, which is the millennials. Millennials largely today aren't gardening, so how do you attract that next generation of consumers into the bedding plant space? Because the baby boomers are running out of gas, and how much longer they're going to be a viable creator of demand. It's finite. You can look at the age of the population and what happens to gardening as they get older, and nobody's coming to replace those holes in the demographics of who gardens.